Hey, what's going on guys? It's me, Aiden from Cartoon Apocalypse, and today I'm going to be making a video on the new episode of DuckTales that came out yesterday. And I'm sorry for this video being a day late. I was pretty busy yesterday, so I just didn't have time to record a video for it. But that's okay for you guys, I hope. I mean, it's one day late. Alright, let's go on with the video. Now, there are two approaches I could have gone to this video. I could have made an analysis over the whole 40-minute episode, or I could be talking about the last 10 minutes, which is what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be talking about the last 10 minutes because the first half is, I mean, yes, it has some good information in it, but the stuff that I mainly want to talk about is at the end of the episode. So let's go ahead and talk about that. So first, I'm going to be talking mostly about the magic related stuff with Magica and just kind of how all of this stuff works. You know, we can't explain all of it, but we can explain kind of how it works. So it appears that Magica gets all of her magic from that little crystal that she has a wand out of. And we see as soon as Donald breaks it or it cracks on his head, she loses all magic capabilities. So the only way that Magica is able to use any magic is with that crystal. Now, you may have noticed that she was way more powerful with the dime, with Scrooge's #1 dime in hand. And that is true, she was way more powerful with the dime. And in the original series, she believed that the dime had some sort of magical powers. And when in hand, she could use that to become pretty much the supreme ruler. And she is more powerful. Now, I don't know exactly how that plays into it, if it's Scrooge in the dime, if that's why it's so much more powerful, or it's just the dime itself. I can't explain that part. It's just magic pretty much, but we can say that she is more powerful with it, and without it she's less powerful, and especially without the crystal, her skin color changed from green back to just the normal white, meaning that she lost all of her magic. Now, the one thing that really kind of annoyed me at the end is how they let her get away. This annoys me about every show, it seems like, because every single time they defeat a villain, they just let the villain go. They don't care. Like, just capture Magica. Because the reason why I think they let her get away, or at least not like the people in the DuckTales, but the producers of the show, I think she's going to be making a reappearance. She might not be like a super main villain like she was the main villain of Season 1, but I do feel like she will be a reoccurring villain, just like Mark Beeks, or any of the other villains that we've seen occurring throughout the show. So I also wanted to mention how Scrooge got out, and that was pretty much from Dewey, like, pretty much taking the dime, and then Magica blasted the dime with her magic, which when doing that, it pretty much freed Scrooge. And that's how Scrooge got out, pretty much, is because Magica kind of reversed the spell by blasting it. Or she gave enough magic energy to Scrooge to use that to break out, because as we know, Magica needed more magic energy from the eclipse in order to break free. So maybe with just enough magic energy, Scrooge was able to break out of the dime. Which, is Scrooge part magical? Like, does he have some sort of magic in him or something? Because that's what this episode made it seem like, but I don't know, there's not really enough evidence to say. And then of course we need to talk about Lena, and like, is she still alive? Is she dead? What's going on with all that? Because her physical form seems to be dead right now, but you know, knowing this show and just knowing just the pattern of shows, she will return. This won't be the last time we see Lena. Just, you know, it's just typical show stuff, which, you know, it'd be nice to see something new, like, oh, they never see Lena again. But she will be brought up in Season 2 and all of this. But pretty much their friendship was some sort of magic, you know, like friendship magic. So that kind of saved Webby from a blast. And then Lena somehow took the form of Magica's shadow and started fighting Magica. So that makes me believe that Lena is something more than just a shadow, because as we know, Magica just kind of casted Lena as a shadow spell in order for Magica to pretty much break free eventually one day, 15 years later. But this makes me believe that Lena, when being a human, or not a human, like a duck, for being alive, let's just put it that way, for being alive for so long, somehow, you know, gained something more than just being a shadow. So that makes me, that's why I think that she was able to come back. And then of course we see Lena once again in the shadows. That's pretty much how we know that she will be returning, and it seems to be from the friendship bracelet. So as long as Webby has the friendship bracelet on, Lena is there, which makes sense. She's a shadow and she just transferred her shadow kind of over. Now this could be nothing. It could just be like saying, oh yeah, she'll always be in our shadow hearts, or, you know, something like that. But, you know, I personally think that Lena will be making a return in some way. So now that we've talked about the beginning end of, you know, the section, the part that we're talking about, the last like 10 minutes, now that we've talked about the first half of that, let's talk about the very end, which is with Della Duck. Oh, whoa, the thumbnail as well, so... So, as we know from the last, like, I don't know, 30 seconds, Della is still alive. Big surprise. Typical show stuff. This show is, like, I love the show, it's a really good show. It's just, it has a lot of, like, predictableness to it. It's very predictable. And it's like, oh, if you thought that Della was dead, you're wrong. So, I mean, yeah, I personally thought that Della was still alive. I didn't think she was dead. But, I don't know. Maybe it fooled you. Who knows? But pretty much Della's alive. And Della seems to be a pretty smart duck because she managed to hook up a signal on the moon and managed to stay alive because she is on the moon. Now, her rocket ship crashed, but I believe that she is staying in the part that is still functional somehow. You know, it's still functional after, I don't know, so many years, like 15 years or however long it's been. But it's, I don't know, it's very unbelievable, but you know what, it's a cartoon, I'll let it slide, you know. Unless if they can give like some good explanation to how she still has oxygen, like maybe she had like 15,000 years worth of supply of oxygen, which then, like, kudos to you, I guess, I don't know. But pretty much she got a signal to Earth and she's watching the news broadcast. Now, this makes me believe that very shortly after this, we will be seeing some Della contacting Scrooge. Now, I don't think it'll be happening like, oh, Season 2, Episode 1, but I do feel like this is going to be the aim of Season 2. As we know, Season 1 had 23 episodes, the Shadow War being the 23rd, and it took roughly about half to get to the Spear of Selene, which is when the show started picking up, at least involving the Della Duck mysteries. Now, it wasn't just the Spear of Selene, there was some episodes before that, but in my opinion, the Spear of Selene is really where we got to see some more action and learn a lot about this Della subplot. Because Magica was the main plot in Season 1, but the subplot was really Della Duck and the mystery of Della Duck. Now, there are also, like, miniature episode, like, plots, like with Mark Beaks and the other villains, but the two main plots were with Magica and Della, so this is just going to be continuing on throughout Season 2, and the way that I think it's going to go out is Della is going to be trying to get in contact with Scrooge just back on Earth, but they're not going to see the messages, all of this, but then eventually one of the three triplets or Webby is going to come across these messages, and it's going to be like, whoa, what is this? And then they're going to realize that Della is still alive. Now, this show is very predictable, but that's just a very broad saying, so don't expect that to be how it plays out. But, I mean, I definitely expect Season 2 to be getting in contact with Della, and they're going to be going into space, probably for the finale, and reuniting with Della. I don't expect to see too many villains this season. Well, okay, I'm talking about like Magica villains with main villains. I'm going to be expecting this season to be more of trying to get to Della Duck and learning more about it versus trying to fight off Magica. But of course there will be like the Beagley boys and Mark Beaks and all of that stuff, but I do feel like the main plot will be getting Della. So that's just my thoughts. And Della somehow is still alive. Her hair is really long, and I don't know, how does she have food? How does she have water? I don't know. There's so many things wrong with this, but you know what? I will let it slide. That's the beauty of cartoons. They can do whatever the heck they want. So, yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. If you are excited to see season 2 of DuckTales, let me know down in the comment section and by hitting that like button, because I'm excited for season 2. This show really is good, and the past couple episodes, I know I didn't make any videos on it, I've been kind of busy, but those episodes were really good, so I'm excited to see what they have in the future. And this show gets a lot of praise for being like the best reboot, because this is probably by far the best reboot that we've seen as far as cartoons are concerned, because I mean, like, the Teen Titans reboot was just, we don't really need to talk about it. It was just bad, you know. Alright, anyway, that's gonna wrap up today's video, and I'll talk to you guys later. Goodbye.